Hi, welcome back. I'm making a part two of my Whipper build Ex-Cerberus Vanguard guide for a number of reasons. I have been playing around continuously, and I want to endorse a build which I prefer, which I think is ultimately more effective. Also, I did a little gameplay, ways 1 to 4, some gold Cerberus, just to show you don't need a Talon, you don't need ultra rares. You don't need level 10 ultra rares. You don't need any high level ultra rares. As I stressed, a lot of people say, "Well, you need to." The only reason why this build works is because you're using this and that. That's simply not true. So what I did, and I've recommended this, is I used the Carnifex. The Carnifex is very, very good. Most players who've been playing for a little bit have it at level 10. It's a silver weapon, so it's pretty easy to get. And I'll get to that in a second, but let me first go into the build. So what do I do differently? Now, I mentioned about the thing about newtons and force, and it wasn't so much a mistake, but as I guess wasn't paying attention. But so in this build, which I prefer, I spec for force and damage, which will give me 975 newtons. Following that, these are the two differences. I go for power synergy, which will give me 25% damage bonus for 15 seconds, which is substantial. That's about almost 3 charges, about 4 charges after a successful biotic charge. Of course, Phoenix training is the same. It's force and damage and weapon damage. However, that's all given. What changes here, the variables, is force and damage and power and synergy. Not only will you cause more damage with say lash within 15 seconds period of time after you charge, which is significant, 25% more damage. Add that to the heavy melee bonus, you're talking a total of 55% extra damage to smash, which is very substantial. Very good for Atlases and what have you. But I mentioned the stagger force. I love staggering phantoms. I want to be like a Krogan. And you'll see in the video, it's demonstrated very clearly, that the initial charge will not be enough to stagger a phantom. Why? Because power synergy, which increases both your damage and your force, is required. But once you charge once against a phantom, or any other target for that matter, you will have 25% stacked to 975 newtons of force, which means you'll have over 1,000 newtons of force, which means, as you saw in the video, you will be able to stagger a phantom. A lot of people, one person asked about this, and it's kind of important to me as well, because after all, we all hate when we're for Vanguards charging the phantoms and just killing us. It's the Krogan Vanguard, I mean, apart from being all these other invincible and what have you, he's a freight train. No matter what position the phantom is in, usually, you can effectively stagger that phantom. And this will allow you to do something similar, only you have to charge first, which isn't that difficult. I mean, if you have a 200% cooldown, you're 3.08, 3-second recharge rate, charging some random enemy, charging the phantom first, get away, maybe shoot her a bit, whatever, whip out a heavy melee, and then charge it into her. End of story. And you see how I think it was at least two, maybe even 3 occasions I charged, and I demonstrate this principle very clearly. So look carefully in the video for what I'm talking about right here. I accidentally set the actual video game recording to record external audio, so it's a bit echoey. I apologize. And everything else is the same. There are no differences in this whatsoever. So yeah, but that is important. You're going to do more damage with smash, and 15 seconds is more substantial than 3. This is my preference, and this is what I've been running with. So there's that part. Moving on to weapons. So let's look at our weapons now. In the video, I used the Carnifex. The Carnifex is an excellent weapon. In some ways, you could say it's outclassed by the Talon, but like I said, I made this video to simply show that you don't need ultra rares. You don't need. I mean, in theory, it would have been a little more difficult. It could have run with the Predator or Katana, because what you really need to optimize this build is this nice little melee stunner, 25% damage. whether you choose to put an extended barrel on, or if you don't have enough AP ammo on hand, there are other options. You still do significant damage with a piercing mod. So that's up to you. That's not, and I mean, I do kill occasionally with a pistol there, but the vast majority of my kills, especially when I'm playing with other players. One recent game, all of my kills, I had no pistol kills. It was all melee. So, and I might add that you see in this video, one of the advantages the Carnifex has over the Talon. Talon has terrible range. It's why it's a Vanguard pistol shotgun. I can snipe with the Carnifex, and that is the one weakness of this build, is that you in range situations, it's a bit difficult to hit targets. And so I do that on occasion. I don't, but most of your I say 90% of your kills will come from your heavy melee attack. So it's kind of, it doesn't really matter. You don't need people say, oh, I'm getting a lot of messages, comments. You need a level, you're using level 10 ultra rare. Okay, yeah, maybe I am. But I just used a level 10 silver weapon too, and it works fine, just as well, if not better in some situations. So anyone concerned about not using the right weapons, I'm totally not prescriptive about weapons. Use whatever feels right to you. Now, one of my subscribers uses the Falcon. I personally would never use these area of effect weapons because I find they're too easy and it's not as much of a challenge. And also, I think it is important to have a melee stunner. So, or a shotgun blade attachment. So, feel free to use any variety. You don't have to use a Carnifex. You can use a phalanx. It doesn't really matter. Maybe you want to use your eagle if you have an eagle. I don't have an eagle, but if you do, so that's just my point here. I'm just saying that it doesn't really matter what kind of weapon you're using, as long as it's a pistol or shotgun with a melee stunner. Everything else is optional and up to you. Most of your kills are coming from your powers, to some extent lash, but mostly your heavy melee. Ideally, that's how you would work this build. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I wanted to make a little extra video just to demonstrate this. I'm not going to comment on the video itself, but everything I explained, like I said, with the 1,000+ Newton charge effect, how you do that, as well as the fact that you don't need ultra rares. You can use a silver weapon like the Carnifex and you'll be fine. No worries. I'm not prescriptive about weapons. Use any weapon you feel comfortable with. The Carnifex is an excellent all-around weapon, and it can do things Talon cannot. It can shoot at very wide range, far range, and still hit the targets with near perfect accuracy, and that's a good thing. So anyway, thanks for watching, and this is part 2 of the Whipper build guide.